My name is Randall Warner. I'm a forest fire lookout, fire communications for the Coconino National Forest. I man Mount Eldon Lookout.
There are actually 81 towers in the state of Arizona. At any one time, about 60 of them are active during the warmer months.
You do have distractions in the towers. Some towers they're small and short, and they're kind of out in the woods, and they don't get a lot of visitors or hikers. And in the case of Mount Eldon, I have to deal with extreme weather. The wind's usually 60 miles an hour. It's a 7-story tower. It's kind of a long road. You don't really expect or think about that you're going to end up as a forest fire lookout. This is the oldest lookout tower in Arizona and New Mexico. There's a plaque here dedicated to the men and women who have served as lookouts at this tower since 1910. Prior to that, a ranger on horseback would ride up to the top of the mountain here. And at that time, there was no trees on this mountain. They had been heavily logged.
In 1905, the Forest Service was formed, 1905 to 1906, and they began to build actual formal structures on the same high points that many of the preserve rangers had used. The towers, or actually the lookouts in the towers, have two functions. Of course, the first one is to look for the fires in the forest, to report them, to coordinate with the fire crews that are working those fires. The second function is to educate the people that visit the tower about the forest, about what their job is and how we keep the forest intact.
Well, this morning we're in Woody Mountain Lookout Tower, and the first thing a lookout would do in the morning would be take a wind speed and direction. You'd write down the visibility as a section here for precept, the humidity and the temperature and the sky conditions. Not only do I record it, but I call that in on the radio first thing in the morning when I go into service. Well, then I'd see a smoke, call in, I'd say Flagstaff, Woody, fire flash. And the minute I say the word fire flash, that means I'm reporting in, calling in a fire. This is what they call the Osborne Firefinder. But on lining up a fire, I'd see the smoke, I'd go ahead and line it up. This would tell me the degrees and the minutes. This map is cut into squares, and each square represents a square mile. And I'm surrounded by other lookout towers. There would be one over here on Mount Eldon. Well, once they hear that I've called in a smoke, if they haven't seen it already, they will line it up on their firefinders, and they'll give a cross, what's called a cross. They don't have to give the smoke size or color or the mileage. They just have to give the degrees. Once that has been done, every lookout tower has a map, what they call a plotting board, and so does the dispatch office. And what it is, it's the same thing as the map here, except it reflects more of the whole forest. And like I said earlier, I had a fire, just say, for instance, at 151 degrees, 30 minutes, Mount Eldon would see the smoke and cross it. Their line would go across the line that I'd already pulled. We're required within 5 minutes or so of seeing the smoke of getting that information on. There are quarters, that come with some of them, and other ones are basically live-in. It's a quite cozy little cabin. Sometimes when the monsoons come in, the lightning is really booming and all at night, and you're sleeping, it can be really rustic and way out there. Once a week or so, whenever a lookout has a day off, he would be going to town, just like anybody else, to the grocery store and picking the type of food he likes. But once he has his food and his water supplies, well, then he'd bring them into here, and plus his personal gear and clothing.
The men and women that work these towers are just a great group of people. They care very much about the job that they do.
I've been struck by lightning, and at the time I had metal binoculars, and I was holding them to my chest and standing in the center near the firefighter, and lightning hit on both windows. It's scary sometimes. It's just another distraction. You have to keep focused. Sometimes you record, if you can, where the strikes hit out in the forest. It may take 2 or 3 days for it to actually turn into a fire.
One of the common themes I heard was that their job allows them to give back something to the society from which they came.
It's just the beauty too, being able to sit up there and see close to 100 miles. It's an office with a view.